So today I'm going back to Shanti Niketan. I want to send my children to Shanti Niketan. Under the trees I want them to learn, even if it is raining, because I don't trust these damn buildings anymore. I don't trust them. Well, the left one lost one story and the right one lost two stories. So there's also competition there. Right? Built by the same contractor, designed by the same engineer, and thought through by the same architect. Right? Now, the left building came down completely and the right side building is still standing there. Because some of our own brethren who are in architecture and engineering community have not been doing their job right. They have not been doing their job right, and that is exactly what is worrying us most, is that ethical standards have really dwindled down, and then the starting slide that we saw today made huge difference for us, because at the end of the day, when you go out of this room, the onus is actually on you and not on anybody else. The summary of what I would like to say is that today India does not have capacity to design even a cycle stand to withstand earthquakes. This is a cycle stand. Right? Cycle stand in Chopra Saab's book is the vertical, single vertical column. You can't get a structure cheaper than that in terms of structural elements. That's the lowest. Of course, if you ask Saint Gobain, now Saint Gobain is building without any verticals, only horizontals are going to be there in Saint Gobain's new building that they have come up with a wonderful picture of. No verticals, only horizontals. Very interesting. They'll hang in the air. Newton's law will be applied every floor-wise. Weights will just stop there. New gravities will begin. The major concern is quality and safety. Two items that have been lost somewhere en route from college to practice. We have lost these two items on the way. When you reach home, your mother says, "Where is it?" that you put it in your pocket, and you say, "I don't know what happened, but I lost those two, quality and safety." Both in self-built houses and in contractor-driven houses, and what images you saw tell you that it's a deep problem. What is difficult is that the owners, who are typically non-technical, cannot make sure that actually a building doesn't have safety. The owners cannot make sure. They trust, when you sleep on the train in the night, when you go from Hyderabad to Visakhapatnam, you have to cross so many bridges, especially the Godavari bridge. You trust the damn engineer that he has done the bridge right, otherwise you won't sleep. In fact, you'll get off, right, on the other side and walk or get a little boat to go across and then take the train on the second side. Now this is another story, cost. It's a very strange way cost is seen in India, right? Two separate barometers are there for cost, one for the structure and one for the finishes. For the structure, it has to be the cheapest, and for the finishes, it has to be the highest. Now my question is, who's holding which one? The structure is holding the finishes, or the finishes are holding the structure? So if that is clear, let us be sure which one has to be safe first, and then we'll make the second one safe. The left hand side picture is what the engineer gives, and the right hand side picture is what the architect does to it. Let's take a closer look at that. The engineer gives you the left hand side picture, and the right hand side picture is what the architect is doing. Everything you want, false ceilings to finishes to furniture to equipment, everything is. And in the recent times, if you see a much varied version of this, which tells you that I want to make an extra buck, so I say, Airtel, please come put an antenna on top of my house and give me 3,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees every month, and that is what you're doing. An antenna is being put without being ensured that the building is actually going to be safe with the antenna on top of it. And many houses, will not be able to withstand that. And recently you saw one in Secunderabad just falling down because somebody put a ton of bricks on it to make halim on it, right? Yeah, it's embarrassing. You can't keep changing functionality of the structure after it is built and approved by a municipality. then you're responsible for it. Looks. That's the only thing left in this world. There are three things that the people of India like is beauty, beauty and beauty. That's the finishes. This is the facilities that you're talking about, and then the furnishings. All of them will be in trouble if you have not finished your structure is not safe, you will see all this happen. What is interesting is, I remember when we were looking at the India-Pakistan war that was going on, in our house we didn't have any color on the walls either, possibly not even plaster. We were just about getting out from a lantern to a first light coming in, and then we had one switch and then one fan on the top. That was the finish in the house. And today you have a whole load of them, right? And if you look at the cost, at that time the electrical work and all the finishes in the house was only about 5% of the total project cost. And today the tables are turned. We're talking almost 80 to 85% of the cost going to the finishings and fittings of this structure. So 15% of the cost is actually your structure, and you're skimping on that to make some savings there, but you're not willing to sacrifice on your Jaguar faucets and all your plastic emulsion finishes on the walls, right? We're not willing to sacrifice on that. So somewhere we have misinformed the owners across the country about what is okay and what is not okay. As I said, 1.27 billion, as I'm talking, some more babies are born, and today's count will be 1.276 or so, and that's the population of India, and that's the density distribution. You can see density is largely where the rivers are. Remember that thumb rule also. Wherever there is water, there will be population. That's because that's where you will have agriculture. That's where you need to have proper bathing facilities and hygiene facilities. Now, typically, you're seeing 1.27 divided by 305 or 1.250. So 4 is the calculation, 4 to 4.5 is the calculation. So everything looks okay. There's no shortage of housing. But there are a lot of rich people who own 3, 4, 5 houses. And so there are a lot of poor people who don't have any houses. And that is the point that you want to remember, is that if you are getting more than one property in your name, you're actually getting somebody out of their house. Unless you have added 2, 3 houses for them, don't get one more for yourself. Let's just take the earthquake hazard there and then put it all together. And so that's what the red spots are. These are the districts in India that need to quickly worry about their safety. Because vulnerability we're taking it as one. Because vulnerability, every building is vulnerable. There are no features. There is no municipal corporation which is regulating any safety measure across the country. Other than looking at architectural features, no municipality has regulated anything. So vulnerability is 100%. Hence, what you're looking at is actually a very serious picture. And Andhra Pradesh is hot on it. Right? The rice bowl of India is hot on it. Telangana is also sitting neighborly there. Some districts of Telangana also on that. The Indo-Gangetic plain you can see, and then Kutch, Gujarat is also, because in Kutch, Gujarat it's not the density but it's the severity of shaking. This is relative priority for governments to be shaken, and they must use this to buck up quickly. The rest, others are not free from this threat. This is the current understanding of hazard, and so current threat picture, but as the hazard picture changes, you will get a new threat perception. What we're looking at here is a story where in 1900s, early 1900s, the world had loss of life and loss of property. So did India. Today, in countries that they took life as a priority, they have very little loss of life. Even if one person dies, they go crazy and bonkers, and they want to get to the root of why that person had to die in a civil structural collapse or whatever. But that's not the story in India. We just give ex gratia. Only the amount of ex gratia has been going up since my childhood. I remember something like 5,000 those days, and now it is looking at 10, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. The number is only going up. It's not made any difference to the nation. If you look at states in India, you can classify them as those states who know what to do and they are doing what they are supposed to do. Second, they know what to do but do not do what they are supposed to do. That's called willful misconduct. So these states are the most, dangerous states. And there are this third set of states. They don't know what to do and they don't, of course, do anything about it. Right? That is ignorance is bliss. This is ignorance, but the middle one is actually the trouble for us. What is important to note today is that every death in every house is avoidable. Every death in every house is actually avoidable. That is when the engineers are accountable for safety, only then it can be avoided. If the engineers are not accountable for safety, they will never have this threat on them. They will never have a pressure on them. And India needs to wake up its engineers and architects. Some more quick look at this. 305 million houses, 68% rural, 32 urban as of today, and we said it will switch the other way around in 15, 20 years' time. Out of this, 3.6% is reinforced concrete, the so-called engineered, which is also unsafe. So actually we are completely unsafe. My prayer is, today the estimated housing shortage is 25 million houses. Can we make at least these safe? And that is what I pitch here in this evening today, that I request that you apply yourself to this cause at least, if not to the lost cause, at least to this cause. The new ones being built, at least make them safe. If you know why they are unsafe, the previous ones, you should correct yourself, and that is where I'm putting this through. Technical know-how is missing, so we need to work on education. Availability of money. Now, those are poor people's houses. Availability of money is also not there, but there are a lot of people. Today government has raised that money also significantly, and they're thinking of moving it to 1.5 lakhs per house of 300 square feet. So it is going to be much better for them in time ahead. People don't seem to be thinking that natural hazards are so much of a problem as much as road safety is, and which is true that on a daily basis more people die on the road in this country than any of these natural hazards. But that doesn't mean that as engineers we will make unsafe structures. As engineers we have to make safe roads and as well as safe houses. Both are our responsibilities. Let's take this responsibility seriously. And finally, there is an aspiration of every Indian that he wants to or she wants to build a pakka house, which is in their definition a reinforced concrete slab on top of the head. And we have to provide that the dream or the desire to be realized, and we as engineers and architects, we have to help them reach that aspiration. The current trends are that the low-income housing people are looking at unreinforced masonry houses with no engineering inputs, and the middle and high-income people are looking at RC frame houses, again with no engineering inputs. So virtually the engineering community has abandoned this entire act of building safer houses. If they have not, then where is that mechanism? Give me one municipal corporation, one municipality in this country which says that we have 10 engineers who are going to verify the safety of all the drawings that you submit, and only when it is considered safe that we will pass this drawing. Otherwise we will not pass it. Give me one municipality, one municipal corporation which is doing this. Not there yet. So this homogenization of the housing dream is a major issue for us. In fact, if I were to write a book on housing, I would say India re-roofed. If you really go into interior India, you will see people are removing their tiles, removing their tin sheets and the slates on top of it, and simply putting RC slab on top. This is happening very fast across, especially in the hilly regions in Himalayas and elsewhere, where rain and snow are a challenge. Now, this is notwithstanding the reality of what that vertical member is doing. Whether the wall is safe or not is not addressed, but the roof is being replaced. So that would be a big threat for us, that we are doing things without looking at the system as a whole, and we are looking at it in parts and pieces. Who is responsible for this crisis? And I look at it, virtually everybody is involved in this. Virtually everybody is involved in this. Architects, builders, contractors, designers, engineers, faculty members, governments, homeowners, individuals, judiciary, knowledgeables, lawyers, and ultimately man is responsible for this entire mess that we have in this country on housing safety. Nobody is left in this list. And if those of you are feeling a little bad, I will go up to W and say woman is also responsible. And I have such a list written up already, and I've shown it in a couple of seminars, but today I refrained from doing that, just to make sure everyone's equal here, okay? So that's the marks I give for the matter of status. What we have done, what we have so far, -10 because we deliberately did not address safety. It's not even a 0. I would have said 0 if it was that I didn't know what to do and so I didn't do it. But time and again, event after event, natural disasters are happening. We're not learning from it. -10. So it's a full discredit to the professional community that we have to. Let's look at trends. Oh, that's a relief slide. Basically tells you that in 1960s, the highest dowry, you are in Andhra Pradesh, we should talk, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, we should talk about dowry. It's a crime, but in 1960s, the highest dowry was to a civil engineer. Right? And I must mention here that the picture is coming back to the same again soon. I'll tell you why. 1947, India got independence, and 33 million people, 330 million people, and we built whatever houses, roads, hospitals, whatever. After that, we didn't do anything. So now, in the meantime, our population has gone 4 times, and so we have to rebuild this nation in 2014. And so, where are all our civil engineers? We need them back. Let's give them more salaries. I won't say dowry. I know I'm being recorded here. No dowries, please. No dowries are allowed, and only salaries should be given. High salaries should be given to civil engineers and architects, because they will build this country again. Take a look at stock. This is 1991 statistics. 195 million houses only were there, and the masonry was totaling up to about 75%. Right? Go to 2001, and the masonry has now shot up to about 85%. And then go to 2000, it has gone up to 78%. Sorry, that was 75%, and then this is looking at 78% or so, 69%. The masonry is coming down with time here, and then the reinforced concrete is going up with time. This is what is the challenge. Watch these numbers together again. 41 plus 33 plus 10. That's about 80. 85% has been masonry for 3 decades in a row. And we haven't done much. The only change that has happened is unburnt brick became burnt brick. That is the only change that has happened in 20 years. But otherwise, masonry has remained masonry. And what did we do in the colleges? We left masonry to masons. No civil engineering program has masonry in it. Building construction as a course has little one line saying masonry, and that's it. Today, the number of faculty members who can teach masonry from the heart will be on this fingertips, 3, 4, 5 in this country. We have left it to the vultures. We have abandoned. The person who's supposed to throw light on the society, himself and herself, has abandoned this responsibility. So this is not acceptable. At the same time, reinforced concrete, even steel structures are not taught in the so-called urban curriculum that we have. Even steel structures are not taught properly. The number of faculty members who can teach steel again is on fingertips, again from the heart, not from the book. Vazirani, Ratwani, Punmiya, Ramamatam, Kanetkar, you know those books? 1 paragraph of theory, 40 pages of problems. That one paragraph has a formula and 5 variables. In the remaining 40 pages, 4 variables are given, 1 variable has to be obtained. I mean, this is like disrespect of intellect on 40 pages. But we are doing it. We have abandoned steel, we have abandoned concrete. Masonry. Only thing that's left is concrete here. Very unfortunate curriculum in civil engineering today. Architects are little better. They spend at least 2-3 weeks drawing English bond, Flemish bond and all that. And we are adding to the housing shortage and housing unsafety in India because we have stopped the masonry. And of course, I talked about the mass migration that's happening. This is going to put more pressure on our reinforced concrete structures. And as of now, the reinforced concrete that is being built doesn't write home any good stories. The expectation is in the next 5 years, in this 12th five-year plan, we're going to spend 85 lakh crores. Those of you who don't know 85 lakh crores, 85 followed by 5 zeros, followed by 7 zeros. That is the number of rupees it has. Okay, and 1 crore, so India is not a poor country, if anybody thought India is a poor country. Half of this money will be spent by civil engineers, 1/4 of this money by electrical and mechanical engineers, and the rest will keep, rest of the country will keep the remaining 1/4. So this 25 million houses that we have to build, let's look at housing alone. For that we are spending 5,000 crores, let me say, in this next 5 years or 4 years left. And he's saying it's time up for me to go. 1 crore, to do 1 crore of work you need 50,000 people, and to do 5,000 crores of work you need 1,20,000 people for 5 years, right? 1,25,000 trained housing professionals. Don't take anybody on the street. Every lady passing on the street is not your bride, and vice versa. Only one is determined for you, and that will come at the right time. Don't be in any hurry also. Don't waste your time in colleges. It will happen at the right time. Everything is determined. Trends, only 2 out of 10. Why? Because we don't have any willful misconduct. There are changes being made. There are important understanding that is collected here, and they are working towards getting solutions. So we're much better on the trend story. Status is very dangerous. Sustainability is the third thought. One thing that has happened, those of you who know that there is an idea, convert that through research into a product, right? But today, in housing, what is interesting is, we don't have the government participating except that they give money. So it's the private sector and the academia. Knowledge has to be given by academia and private sector has to build it. That's not happening. What actually is happening is that the private sector is taken over. There is no involvement of academia, and the entire business of research, converting the idea into a product, is all owned by the industry. And in most cases, these industries are not manned by civil engineers and architects. So that is why we have a very unsafe practice here, dangerous situation. Everyone is talking about greenhouses. Very good. That's a greenhouse I picked up from the net. Those of you who don't know what a greenhouse is a house that looks green in color. Now, look at India, arid country that it is in different parts. I'll show you a picture. This is what is a house in Rajasthan. That's how it's looking like. Do you think that you can live in that house when the ambient air temperature is 55 degrees centigrade at Churu in Rajasthan, which is supposed to be the place with the highest temperature? 55 degrees centigrade. Is it air conditioned? Is the hot air prevented from going inside? No, the roof is clear, right? The door is also not shutting properly. That's where people of India are living. And what are we doing here is the key question for them. Now, solar threat is pretty big in the country. Let's look at that. That's the solar map of India. And you have a whole spectrum from the very hot to the very rainy and the very cold and so on. But in India, we build the same houses everywhere. That's because it is market driven. The industry is pushing that same product, whether it's Himalayas or New Delhi or in Churu, Rajasthan or in Hyderabad or anywhere in Nalgonda district. And our own brethren, the Windows Wale, this is their building. In India, in tropical India, glass everywhere. And what are they talking about? Green points? Lead. So you're using too much of electricity. You're just saying that we'll use large amount of electricity, but we'll let it minimize that electricity. That is not what is lead for us. We are not leading properly from the front if you do that. So by looking at our Windows Wale, we are then going to do all this in our own buildings. So somebody wrote Karina on the hand. I am also going to write Karina. What will happen? My hand will get spoiled because she got married to that fellow. She is never going to marry me again, right? So why am I spoiling my hand? I should learn not to do this. This is another fellow who said, okay, sun is on this side, blank, no windows. Very good. What did he do in the ground story? Take a look at the ground story, open ground story, with a helipad on the top. Quickest way to, right? What has happened is, I am designing a building, nobody is checking my design in this country. I am constructing a building, nobody is examining whether I am constructing properly. I am analyzing a structure, nobody is verifying my analysis. I am going scot-free. What it means is, even if I have got the best degree from any college and I have got good quality control in myself, nobody is assuring quality. Nobody is looking over my shoulder to make sure that I am doing good quality work. No quality assurance. Take a look at this example. If there are 10 steps in each of the 4 activities of modeling, analysis, design and construction, then the efficiency, even if I make one mistake, 99% efficient, in 10 steps I get 90% efficiency. In 4 of these acts, I will get 60% efficiency. But if I have a quality assurance company sitting on my head, I will make only 1 error instead of 10 errors, then my efficiency is 96%. Believe me, quality assurance is a very powerful activity if you take it seriously. You need to have quality assurance in the building and housing safety. Otherwise, you want to see pictures? More pictures and pictures. We will collect as many pictures as you want to show you, and then you can keep wondering about it. And if you collect those pictures, then your curve is going to go steeper and steeper to the left. The life of the structure is going to come down faster and faster. And this is the truth of today's reinforced concrete construction. IIT Kanpur is built with reinforced concrete structures. 1960, they're still standing. But 15-year-old reinforced concrete structures are all corroded. Right? This is the modern reinforced concrete that we are building. Not a good situation at academics or even professional level. I think the finishing instinct, the last lap, we are not running properly. And we are always looking at somebody from the West coming and like Santa Claus giving gifts to us and going away. All the time. We are not trusting ourselves. So my question is, how long will you keep appreciating their excellence in their product development, outstanding stadium, great lighting work, or an excellent car and all that, and then abandon India? This is what troubles me most, is that why is it that our roads are like that? Why is it we can't build our country? We need to look within. We need to understand this one word which that old man said and died, self-reliance. Okay, 67 years ago he said it, but still we are not understanding what he said. Self-reliance is the mantra for us, but it's not happening yet. We need to respect traditional constructions and look at some seminal research going on in that. And some of these structures are still there for you to take a look at, understand them, study them, and see what is it that has made them last through 600, 700, 800 years of their existence on this earth. On the matter of sustainability, just 2, because we are yet to take off our blocks. Our signs are not positive, but they are looking at just the initial days here. Finally, the way forward. I got a red slip already, so I have to close. I would say Currently, Indian housing sector is disorganized, and disorganized on all the fronts of technology, techno-legal framework, education, as well as aspirations of the people. We are not taking a decision in an informed way. We have still got stark contrast. We have the very rich and the very poor. This is very clear. After Gandhi, who was our leader? Right? That level of a leadership, none. Our structures are also like that. After these wonderful monuments built in the yesteryears, what are our leading structures? Did we build one monument after the independence of this nation? That is worthy of highest appreciation. We have grand challenges. The housing grand challenge particularly, it's technically very complex. We need large number of hands to work on it, require state-of-the-art knowledge. Let's apply that. I must say that this picture of the industry playing stranglehold on the whole housing project is not acceptable to us. If I look at it, they are giving us last year's technology. You don't believe me? Then you will understand that if that's the story, then why is it that they are selling us the same house everywhere? Second story I want to talk about is this tall building story. Everyone knows floor space index. You like to understand that it depends on the plot area, the floor area, and how much setbacks you require. Everyone knows that. Fair enough. You understand this picture carefully. For housing the same number of people, depending on how you play with your setbacks and your ground coverage, you have to build taller and taller. So building tall, look at this, same number of people can be housed on this building as well as in this building. That is the embarrassment. How is it that I have to build some 48 stories here and I can manage that with 2 stories only? Just because my governments here tell me that I can use 75% ground coverage and I need to do only 1.33 FSI. But if my governments tell me no, I have to go to higher and higher FSI and smaller ground coverage, then I'll kick up my story heights. Everybody knows as you go taller, you'll have all the troubles on the earth. Today it's become a fashion statement to go taller. It's not a requirement of the nation, nor of the city. You look at this picture of one city, all the houses are 2 stories. This one street alone, every company wants to have an address on that street. It's called Santa Monica Boulevard. So on this street alone you will get the high FSI because it's a commercial business, but the rest of the population will live in 1-2 story houses. They're not going to build vulgar heights for living. That's only it's called the business district. Only businesses are held there. Likewise here, only businesses are held here, downtown. They don't live in those structures. So don't get mixed up that housing has to be tall. Nope, not at all. But that is catching up with us. In Bombay, look at the FSI, 1.33, 0.75, 1, 1, 2, and somewhere here is a red, Dharavi, 4. Why? We'll remove all the slums and make 4 FSI, give the poor people those tall buildings. Right? Let's look at this. That's the normal Mumbai, and this is Dharavi. This is New York, Singapore, Seoul, Vancouver. These are all the countries in which they have regulations and strict monitoring of technology. In India we have nothing, and we are now racing up tall like this. Right? Take a look at this. In commercial, that was housing. Housing in New York, they'll go to 10. And in countries which have no technological control, they'll keep it low. But we are forgetting that fact. Look at this, FSI in business, 25. Right? This is Mumbai. And then we'll suddenly jump up here to 4 now.